self-examined life is not worth living. These timeless words from Socrates capture the essence of his philosophy and have echoed through centuries as a challenge to all of humanity. What does it mean to live a life of purpose? To question everything we believe. Socrates, the great philosopher of ancient Athens, devoted his life to seeking truth, challenging assumptions, and inspiring self-examination. Born around 470 BCE, Socrates reshaped the intellectual landscape by daring to question the norms of his society. His legacy is not found in written works, but in the powerful influence he had on his students, most notably Plato. His teachings emphasized the importance of moral integrity, critical thinking, and living a life aligned with wisdom rather than material gain. In this exploration, we will delve into Socrates' 5 most profound teachings, each offering timeless insights that continue to shape the way we think, live, and understand the world today. What makes life truly meaningful? Socrates believed that true wisdom begins when we pause and reflect on our own actions and beliefs. The power of self-examination allows us to live with clarity, purpose, and a deeper connection to our values. Without it, we risk drifting through life without understanding our true selves. Socrates' profound teaching, "An unexamined life is not worth living," stands as one of the most influential philosophical statements ever made, encapsulating his core belief in the importance of self-reflection and personal growth. At its heart, this principle urges every individual to live with purpose, questioning their beliefs, values, and actions to achieve true wisdom and fulfillment. To understand the full depth of this teaching, we must delve into what self-examination meant for Socrates and why he regarded it as the cornerstone of a meaningful life. For Socrates, self-examination was not a passive activity, but an active, continuous process of self-inquiry. He believed that to live ethically and authentically, one must constantly reflect on their thoughts, motivations, and choices. This practice was central to his philosophy, not as a mere intellectual exercise, but as a moral imperative. To live unexamined, for Socrates, was to drift through life without purpose, blindly following societal norms and inherited beliefs without ever questioning their validity. The significance of self-examination becomes evident when we consider how it influences personal growth. Self-reflection allows individuals to identify areas of weakness, moral shortcomings, and intellectual blind spots. By acknowledging these limitations, a person opens the door to improvement and deeper self-awareness. Socrates believed that genuine wisdom begins with recognizing one's own ignorance, a profound paradox that continues to challenge modern minds. His statement, "I know that I know nothing," underscores the humility required to begin this journey of self-discovery. Historically, Socrates demonstrated this belief through his dialogues in the public squares of Athens, where he would question citizens and prominent figures about their beliefs, values, and understanding of concepts like justice, virtue, and truth. Through relentless questioning, he revealed how often people held beliefs they could not justify. This method, later termed the Socratic method, was not intended to embarrass, but to help individuals reach deeper clarity about their convictions. But why did Socrates emphasize self-examination so passionately? To answer this, we must understand the broader ethical implications he associated with it. Socrates viewed ethical living as inseparable from self-knowledge. A person who fails to reflect on their actions cannot determine whether they are just or virtuous. Without this clarity, moral progress is impossible. For him, personal accountability was the foundation of a just society, where individuals govern themselves through reason and integrity rather than external coercion. This philosophical stance played a pivotal role in Socrates' own life, especially during his trial and subsequent execution. When accused of corrupting the youth of Athens and introducing impiety, Socrates was offered the opportunity to save himself by renouncing his teachings. Yet, staying true to his principle of self-examination, he chose death over abandoning his pursuit of truth. To compromise his beliefs would have been, in his view, a betrayal of his core philosophy. This unwavering integrity demonstrates the profound moral weight Socrates placed on living a life of reflection and truth, even in the face of mortal danger. Beyond personal growth, Socrates' teachings on self-examination extend to the broader impact on society. He believed that a community flourishes when its citizens are committed to personal reflection and moral reasoning. A population that blindly conforms to tradition or authority without question, he warned, risks moral decay and injustice. His philosophy implicitly critiques authoritarianism and highlights the importance of free thought and philosophical inquiry in a healthy democracy. In modern life, the concept of self-examination remains profoundly relevant. It speaks directly to personal accountability, emotional intelligence, and the pursuit of self-improvement. Practicing self-reflection today involves asking critical questions. Am I living according to my values? Are my actions aligned with my beliefs? How do my choices impact those around me? These questions help us live with intention rather than being driven by impulse or societal expectations. Moreover, the value of self-examination is evident in personal relationships. When individuals engage in self-reflection, they become more empathetic, understanding their own biases and emotional triggers. This awareness fosters healthier communication, deeper connections, and more compassionate interactions with others. On a professional level, self-examination encourages ethical leadership and continuous growth. Leaders who embrace this principle are better equipped to make decisions grounded in integrity and self-awareness, avoiding the pitfalls of arrogance and unchecked ambition. Consider the greatest minds of history. Visionaries like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and Nelson Mandela, all of whom practiced profound self-reflection in their pursuit of justice and positive change. Yet despite its profound importance, self-examination is often overlooked in modern culture, where distractions and superficial measures of success dominate. The constant pursuit of material wealth, social validation, and external achievements can obscure deeper questions of purpose and fulfillment. Socrates' words challenge us to resist this superficial existence and instead seek personal wisdom and authenticity. Critically, self-examination requires both courage and vulnerability. To face one's flaws, insecurities, and moral failings is uncomfortable. Yet it is within this discomfort that growth occurs. Socrates taught that true wisdom arises not from avoiding difficult truths, but from embracing them as opportunities for learning. Ultimately, Socrates' principle, an unexamined life is not worth living, urges us to take control of our own narratives. It compels us to look beyond societal definitions of success and seek personal truths that align with our values. His life serves as a reminder that while the pursuit of self-knowledge may be challenging, it is also profoundly rewarding, leading to a life of purpose, integrity, and wisdom. In conclusion, Socrates' lesson on self-examination challenges us to live with deeper awareness and purpose. His belief that personal growth stems from questioning, reflecting, and acknowledging our limitations remains as powerful today as it was in ancient Athens. By embracing this philosophy, we can lead richer, more meaningful lives not defined by the length of our existence but by the depth of our understanding and the integrity of our actions. Have you ever challenged your own beliefs or the beliefs of those around you? Socrates developed a method of questioning that not only revealed contradictions but also opened pathways to deeper understanding. His approach reminds us that wisdom begins not in certainty but in curiosity and the courage to explore the unknown. The Socratic method stands as one of the most powerful tools for intellectual growth, emphasizing the importance of relentless questioning to uncover deeper truths. Socrates believed that true wisdom began not with the accumulation of facts, but with the courage to question assumptions, challenge personal beliefs, and explore the foundations of knowledge. For him, the process of inquiry was not about winning arguments, but about guiding oneself and others toward genuine understanding through self-discovery. At the core of the Socratic method lies a simple yet profound practice: asking, a series of probing questions to examine the validity of a statement or belief. Rather than accepting ideas at face value, Socrates would deconstruct them by asking, "What do you mean by this? How can you be certain? Could there be another explanation?" This structured dialogue allowed both Socrates and his interlocutors to test the strength of their assumptions, often revealing contradictions or gaps in reasoning. This method was not merely theoretical, but deeply personal for Socrates, as it guided every aspect of his philosophical practice. He would often engage with citizens of Athens, questioning the most fundamental concepts: justice, virtue, knowledge, and morality. Through these dialogues, Socrates demonstrated that even commonly accepted ideas could be based on flawed reasoning when not properly examined. His goal was not to undermine beliefs, but to encourage continuous self-reflection and intellectual honesty. However, the Socratic method was not universally welcomed. Many viewed his relentless questioning as disruptive and threatening to the social order. Athens, a city proud of its traditions and beliefs, saw his methods as a challenge to authority and established norms. This tension ultimately led to his trial, where he was accused of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. Yet, Socrates' unwavering commitment to intellectual inquiry never faltered. He famously defended his methods during the trial, asserting that a life without philosophical questioning was not worth living. His refusal to abandon his principles, even in the face of death, remains one of the most profound demonstrations of intellectual courage in history. The relevance of the Socratic method extends far beyond ancient Athens. In modern times, it serves as a powerful tool for critical thinking, problem-solving, and ethical decision-making. Whether in education, leadership, or personal growth, the practice of questioning encourages clarity, open-mindedness, and deeper understanding. By embracing the spirit of questioning, we not only challenge societal assumptions, but also cultivate a mindset of lifelong learning and self-improvement. Ultimately, Socrates' message remains clear. Wisdom is not found in certainty, but in the continuous search for truth. By questioning everything, we free ourselves from intellectual complacency and open the door to genuine growth and enlightenment. What defines a successful life? For Socrates, it was not wealth or status, but the pursuit of moral excellence. He taught that a life rich in character, honesty, and integrity far outweighs the temporary rewards of material gain. His message challenges us to reflect on our priorities and strive for inner fulfillment rather than external validation. Socrates' unwavering belief that virtue surpasses material wealth stands as one of the most profound lessons he imparted to humanity. In a society that often equated success with affluence, Socrates boldly challenged this notion, arguing that true fulfillment could only be found in the cultivation of moral character, wisdom, and ethical living. His teachings continue to resonate, urging us to reflect on what defines a life of genuine value. For Socrates, the pursuit of virtue was not just a personal philosophy, but a guiding principle for life. He believed that wealth, power, and social standing were secondary to the development of one's moral integrity. Wealth, in his view, could easily corrupt the soul if it became the primary goal of life. Virtue, on the other hand, was a form of excellence in character, rooted in honesty, justice, courage, and wisdom. It was through virtue that one could find true happiness and inner peace. Socrates frequently illustrated this belief in his dialogues, often challenging the elite of Athens, who prioritized wealth and status above personal integrity. In the Apology, he famously stated, "I do not think that wealth brings goodness, but goodness brings wealth and every other blessing." This powerful statement emphasizes that virtue enriches life in ways material possessions cannot. Wealth gained without moral grounding, he argued, leads to greed, arrogance, and ultimately self-destruction. The significance of this lesson becomes even clearer when we examine Socrates' personal life. Despite having the opportunity to accumulate wealth and influence, he chose a life of simplicity. He rejected financial gain from his philosophical teachings, believing that wisdom should be shared freely rather than commodified. His refusal to be swayed by material rewards underscored his commitment to living a life guided by principle, not profit. However, Socrates' message does not imply the rejection of wealth itself, but rather a reordering of priorities. Wealth, when pursued ethically and used responsibly, can be a tool for good. Yet, when wealth becomes an end in itself, it often distorts one's values and blinds individuals to the greater purpose of life. Socrates' philosophy teaches us to seek personal growth, wisdom, and kindness first, qualities that no material possession can replace. This lesson holds particular relevance in the modern world, where the pursuit of success is frequently equated with financial achievement. In a culture obsessed with luxury, fame, and superficial status, Socrates' message challenges us to redefine success. True success, according to his wisdom, lies in becoming a person of integrity, making ethical choices, and enriching the lives of others through moral excellence. Ultimately, Socrates' commitment to virtue over wealth serves as a timeless reminder that a life guided by principles is far more rewarding than one driven by material gain. His philosophy urges us to ask ourselves, are we pursuing success at the cost of our character? Are we measuring our worth by external possessions or by the depth of our values? By prioritizing virtue, we not only cultivate a more fulfilling life, but also contribute to a better, more compassionate society, one where true greatness is defined not by what we own, but by who we choose to become. Would you stand by your principles, even in the face of death? Socrates did. His trial was not just a political spectacle, but a defining moment of moral courage. He chose truth and integrity over self-preservation, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire courage and ethical steadfastness. Socrates' trial and execution stand as a profound testament to his unwavering dedication to truth, integrity, and philosophical inquiry. His death was not merely the consequence of political tension, but the ultimate expression of his belief that a life without moral courage and intellectual honesty was not worth living. His final days, marked by defiance against injustice, reveal the extraordinary strength of a man who valued principles above self-preservation. In 399 BC, Socrates was brought to trial in Athens under the charges of corrupting the youth and impiety, accusations rooted not in genuine wrongdoing, but in his relentless questioning of authority and societal norms. His philosophical inquiries had challenged the comfort of the powerful, exposing ignorance and hypocrisy among the elite. Rather than silence his critics, he continued his practice of questioning, which ultimately led to his prosecution. What made Socrates' response so extraordinary was his refusal to compromise his values, even when faced with death. During his trial, as documented in Plato's Apology, he did not beg for mercy or attempt to appease his accusers. Instead, he used the courtroom as a platform for truth, famously declaring, "I would rather die having spoken after my manner than speak in your manner and live." His words emphasized that integrity was far more valuable than life itself, if that life required the betrayal of one's deepest beliefs. Socrates' unwavering stance challenges the very foundation of moral courage. He understood that surrendering his principles would not only betray his own soul, but would also undermine the very philosophy he had devoted his life to. For Socrates, to live with integrity meant standing by truth, regardless of personal cost. His choice to accept death rather than live in moral compromise continues to inspire those who face oppression and injustice. The manner of his death further solidifies his legacy as a philosophical martyr. After being sentenced to death by drinking hemlock, Socrates accepted his fate with remarkable calmness. His friends and followers, including Plato, pleaded with him to escape, an option made possible by sympathizers who were willing to help. Yet Socrates refused. He believed that escaping would contradict the very principles he had taught throughout his life. Respect for the law, even when flawed, was a cornerstone of his ethical framework. His death, therefore, was not an act of submission, but a final, powerful statement on the importance of moral consistency. Socrates' trial and death invite us to reflect on the nature of personal integrity. Would we have the courage to defend truth, even when it costs us everything? His life teaches us that genuine wisdom is not merely about knowledge, but the strength to live according to our values in the face of adversity. Ultimately, Socrates' execution was a profound loss for Athens, but a timeless victory for the principles of intellectual freedom and moral courage. His life reminds us that true greatness lies not in power or wealth, but in the courage to stand by what is right, regardless of the consequences. Could true wisdom begin with admitting our own limitations? Socrates' famous assertion, "I know that I know nothing," reminds us of the importance of humility in the pursuit of knowledge. Embracing this mindset opens us to lifelong learning and personal growth. Socrates' profound statement, "I know that I know nothing," captures the very essence of his philosophical legacy. At first glance, this declaration may seem paradoxical. How could a figure so celebrated for wisdom openly admit ignorance? Yet, beneath its simplicity lies a powerful lesson on intellectual humility, the pursuit of knowledge, and the courage to question one's assumptions. At the heart of this teaching is intellectual humility, the ability to recognize the limits of one's understanding. Socrates did not claim to possess no knowledge at all. Rather, he acknowledged the vastness of what he had yet to understand. This humility became the foundation of his philosophical inquiry, driving him to question not only his own beliefs but also those of his fellow Athenians. He understood that genuine wisdom was not found in clinging to certainty, but in the continuous search for deeper truths. Socrates often applied this principle through his method of questioning, engaging with poets, politicians, and craftsmen in Athens. While many believed themselves wise due to their social standing or specialized knowledge, Socrates exposed their misconceptions through thoughtful dialogue. His goal was not to embarrass, but to reveal how superficial knowledge can create a false sense of certainty. By admitting his ignorance, Socrates remained open to learning, while those who claimed absolute knowledge remained blind to their intellectual limitations. The power of knowing you know nothing extends beyond personal growth. It serves as a defense against arrogance and dogmatism. When individuals assume they possess all the answers, they close themselves off from new perspectives and critical thinking. Socrates' wisdom urges us to embrace curiosity, to remain lifelong learners, and to resist the trap of believing we have reached the peak of understanding. This lesson remains profoundly relevant today. In a world saturated with information, it is easy to mistake access to knowledge for wisdom itself. Socrates reminds us that true learning requires self-awareness, critical reflection, and the willingness to admit when we are wrong. His philosophy challenges us to be more open-minded, empathetic, and thoughtful in how we approach complex issues, whether in personal relationships, professional environments, or societal debates. Ultimately, "I know that I know nothing" is not a statement of defeat, but a call to intellectual courage. It invites us to seek truth with humility, to question boldly, and to remain ever curious. By embracing this mindset, we not only grow wiser, but also cultivate a deeper sense of respect for the complexity of life and the shared human experience. Socrates' teachings remain a beacon of wisdom, urging us to seek truth, question deeply, and live with unwavering integrity. His life was not just a collection of philosophical ideas, but a testament to the power of living by one's principles, no matter the personal cost. Each of his lessons challenges us to reflect on our values, our beliefs, and how we engage with the world around us. The power of the value of self-examination reminds us that personal growth begins from within. Without introspection, we risk living passively, guided by unchallenged habits and external expectations. Socrates compels us to reflect on our choices, not out of self-criticism, but as a means of becoming better individuals. The Socratic method. Question everything teaches the importance of intellectual courage and curiosity. It inspires us to move beyond accepting information at face value, urging us to engage with ideas thoughtfully and challenge even our most deeply held beliefs. This mindset fosters both personal wisdom and the advancement of knowledge. The pursuit of virtue over wealth offers a profound reminder that true fulfillment does not come from material gain, but from the cultivation of moral excellence. Socrates' rejection of wealth in favor of character stands as a bold counterpoint to today's pursuit of external success, challenging us to redefine what it means to live a meaningful life. In Standing by Principles, his trial and death, Socrates' unwavering commitment to truth serves as a timeless example of moral bravery. His refusal to compromise his beliefs, even in the face of death, reminds us of the profound strength in standing firm for justice and personal integrity. Finally, wisdom lies in knowing you know nothing calls us to embrace humility in our lifelong pursuit of understanding. Socrates' words encourage us not to fear uncertainty, but to use it as a foundation for growth and lifelong learning. Together, these lessons form a powerful guide for living a life of purpose, wisdom, and integrity. Socrates' legacy continues to challenge and inspire, urging us to think critically, question boldly, and seek truth with humility. What lesson from Socrates spoke to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If there's a historical figure or timeless quote you'd love to explore next, let me know. I'm committed to bringing you the most inspiring lessons from history's greatest minds.